Mm-hmm. A little coaster. I don't know if they go like that or the other way.
You bought new headphones?
Yeah.
Why'd you have to?
I didn't have to, but the cable was $20 and these were $100.
Okay, that's like a 80% difference.
Yeah, but I could use
that leap from 20 to 100.
But I can use these again. That cable is like a one time.
I get that.
So if mine ever break or something.
Oh.
Is nice.
This sounds
Can you hear me?
Weird. Dude, is this how I sound in real life?
Bring this closer to your face. Maybe straddle it. How's that?
Is this how I sound in real life?
That's how you sound in real life.
This is so weird, dude. I can't.
Is it loud in here or is it comfortable?
It's not loud. It's just weird, bro.
Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you okay. Wait, talk to see if this is how
I am talking. This is how I sound in real life.
No, this sounds a little bit different than you sound in real life.
Does it sound like this? You got some slack. Okay.
This is going to be freaking weird.
Why is it weird? Here, get this closer. This is one of those like stage mics. You want to sing a song? As an intro?
Butterfly in the sky.
Come on! Wait, before you keep going, it's been recording this whole time.
Okay.
Turn your phone off.
Oh, dude, remember that?
Bro, have some respect.
Look. I'm Tina. How are you, Lisa? Just these random texts that I get from random people who call me by someone else's name.
Yeah, that's a bot.
It's a bot, right?
You're getting catfished.
Okay. What should I respond to this bot? Hi, Tina. How are you, Lisa? No, it says, I'm Tina. How are you, Lisa?
Say, who is it? Say, hi, Tina. I'm dead.
Hi, Tina. I'm dead. I passed away. I passed away on a Thursday afternoon last year, but no one knows why.
Help. Say help.
Okay, I just sent it.
Okay.
All right. Sorry. It's gonna get a little toasty in here, huh?
Well, that's because you have a fur coat on, and it's like 70 degrees out.
Yeah, but it's like a cold 70, dude. Boise's 70 is.
This is nice.
It's Lulu. It's one of the like 2 or 3 Lulu things that I own.
Nice. I had some Lulu underwear that my wife recently made me throw away.
You shouldn't have done it, man.
But they had a big hole in the butt.
How do you explain that hole?
You know, she asked me that same question, and she said none of hers have holes like that. Mm-hmm. I thought it was just from like sitting on hard surfaces and moving around a lot. Mm-hmm. But
do you think it's from acidity generated from your bodily emissions?
You think that my farts actually burned a hole in my underwear?
I'm asking that. I mean, is that not? You don't think that that's a possibility?
Welcome to Ben is the Menace podcast. This is my friend.
Who shall be unnamed?
Who shall be unnamed? He who must not be named. Adam.
Adam, it's a student. Is that what a pseudonym is?
Sudafed. It's a Sudafed. This is Adam.
Some would say that I would go by the name of Adam in certain scenarios.
That's true. Some would say that.
Adam in like the Adam representing all of humanity.
Oh God, I hope not.
Context.
Dennis is on vacation, and I've brought in my friend from Can I say where you're from?
Yeah.
He's from Chicago.
Which is where Dennis used to be from.
Which is where Dennis used to be from. Adam doesn't want me to use his name so that he can stay private, which I understand. And for
Only for the time being.
And for our subscribers who know who this is, don't say it. Don't say it. What's up, bro?
What's up, man? This is weird. But cool.
Stop making it weird.
All right.
Just act like we would normally act.
Okay, but I would normally like look at you when we're talking, and now I'm looking at you.
Oh, but look at me on the screen.
Look at you on the screen.
Because I'm looking at you on the screen. You know what I mean?
Right, cool.
And then from time to time, we just go like this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? See?
Yeah.
You're right. This is weird.
You're gonna cut this out, right?
Oh yeah. I'm gonna cut this part out.
So I'm your friend from Chicago.
Oh yeah, this is my friend from Chicago. Lifelong friend. Probably not. We met when we were
more like 3/4 lifetime. By now,
3/4. I don't want to do math on here. We're probably since we were 15.
I'd put it around 14 or 15.
Yeah. And I'm 37. 20 years, bro.
So am I in a month. Wait, no. Less than a month.
Happy birthday.
Did I tell you happy birthday?
No.
I'm pretty sure it was on the group chat with your brother. And I did. He said it first, and I'm like, oh.
Wrong. Wrong.
Don't make me fact check this.
No, you don't have to. Don't do it. Dude, 20 years that we've known each other. You're probably one of my top 5 longest friends. And I would say possibly my best of friends.
Really?
My best friend. Do you have a better friend than me?
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Dude, thanks, man.
Do you have a better friend than me?
Oh my God. Better is kind of a weird way to say it. I do.
Why are you gay?
I do have a closer friend than you. Simply because by proximity wise, like he lives in Chicago.
No. Don't say closer. What do you mean by closer?
Closer is in like time spent talking together.
That's true. We don't talk a lot.
Like me and this friend see each other like
but
twice a week.
Are we better friends? Wow. Live on Menace the Menace, Ben gets his heart broken by his ex-best friend.
Whenever I refer to you, even to this other friend that we're talking about, I refer to you as my best friend. And
what does he ask you? Does he ask you if he
refers to me as his best friend?
Dude, this is some weird 3-way. I don't know. Is this...
Well, here's the way that I'm going to explain that.
Okay. He thinks you're his best friend, and I think you're my best friend.
Yeah.
Make a decision right now, on air, live.
Here's the way that I would describe it, okay?
Get closer to the mic.
This is annoying.
I know.
This is the way that I would describe it. You know how C.S. Lewis... Do you know that C.S. Lewis had like a group of like writers that it was like a writer's...
Yeah, what was it called?
I don't know what it was called.
There was a name.
I know. The something.
Oh, dude, check this out.
I think Tolkien was part of it too.
Yep.
And then a couple other like Christian, like super solid authors. No, you can Google it by like C.S. Lewis writing group. I don't know. Friend group.
Tolkien Lewis Club.
Yeah.
The Inklings.
The Inklings. That's
right. What it was. The Inklings.
Right. Yeah. There was like 4 of them. And I think one of them ended up passing away. And another one made the comment, well, the benefit about this other one passing away is that now I can have more time with the other 2. And then, I don't know who it was, C.S. Lewis or Tolkien replied saying, you don't actually get to have more of us. You actually have less of us because there's something in each of us that the one that passed away brought out that now is like dormant.
Got it.
So by the other one passing away, you don't actually have more of us. You actually have less of us.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, because I'm friends with you differently than I am friends with other people.
Exactly. Which is one of the reasons I like come out, right, and spend time with you and Rebecca, because like when I'm here, there's something that like my entire perspective shifts, you know.
That's probably because we're best friends.
Right.
Got him. Hold on. Do I have a sound for got him? No, I don't. I do have this sound though.
China.
Cool, dude.
This is Subby's first time. This is you're doing good. Don't worry.
Thanks.
Don't be nervous.
Thanks.
You're sweating through your shirt. I could see. No, you're sweating. Your back is wet.
Hopefully I don't blow a hole through my shirt like you did through your underwear.
Why do you fart through your back? Freak. Good times. Ben's podcast. Do you remember how we met?
I do. Do you remember how we met?
I kind of remember, but as you know, I have a really bad memory.
So I was. Is this
get closer?
Get closer again, right?
Okay, you know when you were like singing in worship team at church, and you had one of these mics, and you would like sing into it.
Yeah,
that's what you got to do here.
Okay.
Your mic's not like this mic.
Okay. So I remember. Yeah, I was actually in LA for the purpose of linking up with Phineas for a go.
Why can you drop his name?
Should I?
I think there's a double standard.
Okay. So I was in LA to meet up with Phineas because at that point I considered him my best friend.
Oh my God. Well, we hadn't known each other yet, so
we hadn't known each other. So Phineas lived on the same block as you, I think. I came to find because Phineas was living at a pastor's house who will leave unnamed.
He who must also not be named.
And the very first like encounter that Phineas and I had in LA, he was like, "Oh, come on, let's go to the mall." I'm like, "All right, bet," because the mall was like the place to be back then.
Of course,
that's where you met chicks. You know, no Instagram. So I was like, "Yo, let's go to the mall. This is LA. This is gonna be lit." And Phineas pulls up to wherever I was staying. No, I go to where Phineas was staying, and Phineas's cousin rolls by to pick us up in a work van. It's like a white Ford work van, right? And it's like empty in the back because that's where you store tools and stuff. So no seating in the back of this van, just a huge, like, you know, work van, white work van. And so you'd have to like stand up because there were no other seats. There's just one seat in the front and the passenger in the front and then driver. No other seats in the back. And I don't know, I think Phineas took like the seat in the front, or maybe someone else did. I don't know. Nevertheless, there I was in the back of the van standing up, and then the van drives for like 20 seconds and then stops. And then the sliding door opens. And then you just pop in.
Surprise, mother.
And I think from what I remember, you didn't even say hi to me. Like, you didn't even say hi to anyone. You just like jumped into the van, slammed the door shut, and then off we go.
Sounds about right.
And I was like, yo, who is this a-hole? Like, I'm used to like, you know, people being nice to you as an out-of-towner. Hi, my name's blah, blah, blah. Where are you from? Blah, blah, blah. And this guy just hops into the van, into my space, the back of the van, which at that point was occupied by me only. He comes into my territory and didn't even say anything. I'm just like, man, this guy's a a-hole.
Yeah. You can, just so you know, on Venice the Menace, you can cuss. We're trying to cuss less.
Yeah.
But you can if you need to.
Okay. For effect.
For genuinity.
Okay.
Do you think that's a word?
No, for authenticity.
Authenticity. Genuinity.
Okay, so we're in the back of this van together. First encounter. And then we hit the highway. And there were no seats in the back of this van. It's you and me. And we're just like, we're basically fending for our lives at this point because we're standing up in a speeding van with no support, nothing to hold on to, pretty much accept each other.
Aww.
So we kind of like, we had to like immediately like bro out to survive this car ride in a speeding van on the highway. And by the time we pulled up to the mall, we had been through this like very traumatic experience together. And that's when I thought that we would finally shake up and like you would tell me what your name was. But you didn't. We got there.
This is why you are unnamed.
You got out of the van. So anyway, long story short, we get to the mall after we've survived this traumatic experience.
I got out. I didn't say anything to you.
You got out of the van. You didn't even say anything. And at some point, either that day or maybe like on the next encounter, actually, no, my memory went blank after that. I don't really know if we even talked at all on that one occasion. The next time that I have like a memory of actually interacting with you was at the convention.
Okay.
So at the convention, it might have been maybe 2 years later.
Okay.
So that was the first time I met you, or the first time I didn't meet you because you didn't introduce yourself to me.
Okay.
But where we actually interacted for the first time in a memorable way was at the LA Youth Convention, maybe a couple years later, maybe 3 years later. And I was actually rolling with another of our friends. Should we name him? Who was in like the same whatever worship band that I was?
Yeah, bro.
Okay.
No, nobody cares about this but you.
Okay, Levy.
Oh, don't name him.
And I guess you guys were like spitting to the same girl.
Dude.
You guys got into some kind of
I don't
feud.
think so.
I think you guys got in like some kind of feud on like MySpace maybe,
Row
or
Youth.
on Row Youth.
Row Youth. That's what it had nothing to do with chicks. I think we had beef with some guys from like Sacramento or something on Row Youth, which was the Romanian precursor to MySpace.
Sure.
Right.
But I remember him saying that it was about some girl. Like I remember
maybe
him
there
saying
was
that
like
it was
a female involved.
some female from Sacramento that either you said something to, or maybe you were both talking to.
That's what it was. I think I said something.
Okay, you said
mean.
something to the girl. Yeah, to the girl that he was like talking to.
I used to be a jerk.
Used to be. Okay. So then you guys, I was with him right outside of like the service. And then somehow you came up and you guys like confronted each other.
This was in the bathroom.
This was not in the bathroom.
Not yet?
No, this was
No?
outside.
Okay.
You guys like confronted each other for the first time.
Yeah.
About it. And Levy was like, oh, dude, you're Ben, blah, blah, blah. And then you're like, oh, and you're blah, blah, blah. And so you guys just like, here I am watching this confrontation.
Did you think it was going to go down?
I didn't think it was going to go down because you guys were both trying to figure out who each other is and like kind of trying to confirm that you guys were the right person that each other should be mad at.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then once you figured it out, you're like, okay. And then the next thing that I remember happening is you and me somehow got into this like competition of getting girls' numbers.
Wait, you missed a point. Hold on.
All right, what did I miss?
At some point, me and Levy were in a bathroom together.
I wasn't there though.
You might have not been, but let me just expand on this.
All right.
So we're in a bathroom together, whether it was that same time or like soon thereafter, and we started like threatening each other back and forth. And Levy will tell you,
expose you on real you.
No. I was like, I'm gonna kill you. Like, I'll cut your throat. Like, it got really funny. I mean, some would say bad, but now I look back on it and say funny. And Levy, when I said stuff like that, Levy was just like, okay, you're gonna cut my throat. And it just made me madder because I knew I wasn't gonna kill him. I was just saying that to make him scared, but it didn't work.
Did that work before for you?
I don't know. I think that might have been the first time I ever used that line.
Is that how mad you were about this girl that you didn't care about?
I think it was just something to say to act tough.
Because you're from LA and like South Central and the hood and all that?
No, I was from like Orange County.
Right.
Like where the not ghetto people are.
Right.
Anyway, okay, then we get into a competition.
So the next thing I remember is you and me outside, like in the courtyard where everyone was like gathering right immediately after service, mingling before going out to like eat or whatever. Remember that? And
yes,
somehow you and me were just like, bro, I bet you can't get that girl's number. And boom, we would go get it and we'd come back with it or whatever. And then once each of us had like a girl's number, for whatever reason, we made this thing about like crumpling up the piece of paper or whatever, because we didn't have, I think we might have had cell phones back then.
Like flip phones.
Maybe flip phones, but people were still writing stuff on like pieces of paper. Oh, you got a piece of paper I can write it on or whatever. And we would like show it to each other and we would just like crumple it up and like throw it away. Like, she'll never hear from me. I don't know. We just found that like really funny. And then you came up with it because a lot of times you generate these like initial like one-liners or whatever, and then we just run with it, and then it'll take on like a life of its own. I'll come back with something to add on to it, and it'll just blow up from there. and so I think back then one of the terms was like, "Oh, bro, go spit your game,
spit game.
Go spit game." And so you'd go spit game, I'd go spit game, you'd go spit game, I'd go spit game. And then all of a sudden you're like, dude, we're like the Spit Twins.
That was good.
And that stuck.
Good. We were the Spit Twins.
From then on, we were the Spit Twins up until you got married.
That's true.
Or up until like, I don't know, first relationship with another person who will leave unnamed.
Dude, I don't even know who you're talking about, but we'll leave that part out. Cropping all of this.
So anyway, that's the first like memorable like interaction or experience that I have with
Spit Twins.
And it was very like it was very captivating, you know, like it was very, very meaningful.
Would you say that I was your best friend in those moments?
In those moments, you were like the guy at the convention for me. Like you were the one I wanted to like chill with.
Nice, bro.
You know?
Same.
So, yeah.
Okay.
I put that maybe around 15 to 16 or 17.
Okay.
So either way, we're at 20 or over.
Right now?
Yeah.
Years.
Yeah.
Yeah. We weren't 20 at that time.
No. We were at 20 years of that experience. Which is crazy.
Which is really crazy. That's sad. Do you remember other convention experiences? Because I think we were mostly friends at conventions, right? We'd like rekindle at conventions.
I think we were mostly friends at conventions.
And then we started hanging out.
So here's another thing that's interesting. We were mostly friends at conventions, but initially I think I was a closer friend to your brother Dan.
Yeah.
Like I would come to LA and stay at your place. And that one of the things was about you that I like found irritating because it made you inaccessible in a way, but it was also something that I admired about you. You had this like unmatched independence. Like you just gave zero craps, went off and did your own thing, no matter who was around, no matter what was happening. It's like Ben's going to do what Ben wants to do, and he doesn't need anybody to join him.
This happens.
So I found that simultaneously annoying and admiring at the same time. Anyway, I would come to town, hang out with Dan mostly, and you were like around, and every once in a while, like Dan was busy or whatever, and you happened to be home, and we would just like go grab food or something. And that's kind of how like the relationship sort of grew. And then from that, I don't really know how it evolved. We just like, I just found myself like coming to LA more so like to hang out with both of you. But then at some point the scale tipped to like hang out more so with you. I think by that point, Dan had like moved to Michigan or something like that.
Yeah,
so he wasn't even in LA a whole lot. So yeah, I think that's the way that I remember it.
Another fond memory I have with you is when we were in we were DJs.
Oh yeah.
We were in a spit. Would you say a spit team? What would you call that? A duo.
Well,
we were a duo.
We had a DJ name for ourselves.
We did have a DJ.
Dude, yeah. Good. That's a good point. Like I think we bonded a lot on like the music thing. Yeah. Acid house.
Acid house.
So we were into like the same, like, what was it? Like minimal type of music.
Techno.
Minimal techno. Your style was a little bit more, it was always edgier. But whereas like Dan and other people were just listening to it, like we went
deep.
I didn't go that deep. I only scratched the surface. Whereas
I went deep.
You went full.
I think I might be on the spectrum.
You went full spectrum.
I went full spectrum.
You bought like thousands of dollars worth of mixers and speakers. You essentially turned the pool table room in your old house into like your little like studio.
Yeah, but I do that. Like I'll find something to latch onto
yourself,
and I go deep.
Yeah.
Case in point.
Exactly. Another thing that I found super annoying because that became like your fixation and it made you inaccessible. It's like, oh, Ben, let's go hang out. Let's go grab some food. Like, no, man, I'm like
in the studio.
I'm like mid Ableton studio session right now.
I also did that with, were you around when I got into sewing and making clothes?
Yeah. I have one of your hats.
Really?
Yeah. I think it was one of your first like,
send me pictures because I don't know which one you're talking about.
I will. I'll send you pictures.
How funny.
Yeah, I have one of your first prototypes.
I remember one time.
Might be worth a lot one day. Who knows?
One of these days. I remember one time after church, people were going to hang out. And I'm like, no, I got to go home. I got stuff to do. And my brother, I think, invited everybody to come over to our house after like dinner. And there I was in the pool room in the corner where I had a sewing machine in my underwear, listening to music and sewing. And everybody came over after like eating out and was just literally everyone was in the window because it was all glass.
Yeah.
They were all standing there like recording me as I'm in my underwear sewing away.
It was like an exhibit.
Exactly.
It was like an exhibit at the museum or like,
dude, exactly.
Or like a real live art show. Like, let's watch this species of human being in the wild.
Homo Benius.
Like a freaking safari in your own home.
Yeah, Homo Benius on full display.
Yeah, that was you, bro. And so I think to the memory that you just recalled, we engaged in like a mixing session, like a duo DJ mixing session.
We had this little mixer that you could plug 2 iPods in. And you'd be able to like pan between the two, and it had 2 headphone jacks. So you'd mix off of your iPod. And it
had like bass, treble, so you can fiddle around with those there. Yeah, and you can plug. Was it one?
No, 2 headphones.
Okay, 2 headphones. So we can both like hear what the other is about to play, and then one of us would like take over and like pan it, and then it would just drop.
Our name,
Do
our
you remember?
duo name was Tidy Whities.
I sustained that it was Whitey Tidies.
No, you got to go with Tidy Whities. And the play was going to be that if we ever make it big as DJs at 18 or whatever we were, we would perform in underwear.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Tidy
In our
Whities.
Whitey Tidy.
Otherwise, you would be canceled.
For sure.
Because
That was like our thing.
Yeah.
Like back then you had to have like a calling card, like, or like an identity, something unique to bring to the table beyond just talent, right?
Yeah.
I think
Like some would say like Dead Mouse
like
5.
like Dead Mouse 5.
With his
Which
hat.
we thought it was Dead Mouse. I thought it was Dead Mouse 5.
I thought it was Dead Mouse 5 too.
For pretty much the majority of when he was big. And then until one day I was like to a friend, yo, let me play you this this banging like Dead Mouse 5 track. And the guy looks at me, he's like, dude, what are you talking about? I'm like, Dead Mouse 5, bro. He's like, dude, do you mean Dead Mouse? And I'm like, no, there's no way that it's Dead Mouse. And then sure enough, thereafter, every time I heard it mentioned, it was Dead Mouse. But I'd never heard it even once before then. Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
How like something will happen
and then it triggers
like
it.
you're completely ignorant to something, and then something will happen, and then it'll just be everywhere.
Yeah. There's a name for that.
Maybe
it's like
just
when
like
you
confirmation bias.
it's like when
you're
you
looking for
buy a specific car and it's on the forefront of your mind, and then on the road all you see is your car.
Yeah.
Because before they were still there, but it just wasn't in your mind to pick up on, you know.
Like you're completely oblivious to it.
Yeah. So we were Tidy Whities, and we had this little DJ gear, and we connected at a convention, I think in Arizona, right?
That was an Arizona convention. Yeah.
That was an Arizona convention. And I had to have been 18 or 19 at that point.
We were both 18. We're the same age, dude.
We're
just like 2 months
I know.
apart.
So by proxy, you're this. When I say I'm 18 or 19, that means you're 18 or 19.
Everyone knows Phoenix is boring. Like there was
Super
literally
boring.
nothing
Super
to do.
boring.
So we were like the main event.
Wait. Well, say why.
Because we.
This is for those of you that don't know. Hey, we're Romanian. We grew up at like Romanian Pentecostal churches, and once a year they would put on a Romanian youth convention where it's actually kind of cool, where all the Romanian kids from all over America meet at like in one city, and usually we all stay in the same hotel and just go to like listen to sermons and sing songs.
It was basically just a big mingle.
It was a big mingle.
That's all it was.
I mean, it was a big mingle for us. Other people were there for what it was intended for.
It was a big mingle.
It was a big mingle.
Big mingle.
Big mingle. A lot of mingling.
The sermoning and the worship sets being just like
that was an excuse to be seen, so that you can mingle.
Right. So at one of these things, I don't know whose mixer it was. Was it your mixer or was it mine? It was a white one.
Mine. I think it was mine.
Might have been yours. But you didn't stop there. You also brought some speakers.
Yeah.
Like nowadays, you can go out
like
and buy
studio monitors.
Yes. You brought those from LA.
Yeah.
You transported them
to Arizona.
LA. How you got them there, I don't know. But we ended up setting them up at the pool.
At the pool at the hotel.
At the pool at the hotel. And this was like mid-afternoon on a Saturday with nothing else to do, with all of the congregants at this like conference, numbering maybe up into the thousands, mostly all of them staying at that hotel. And it just so happened that the way that the pool setup was like with windows, like everyone's window was like facing the pool. And this was like mid-afternoon, nothing else to do in Phoenix. And the pool was basically full of people. It was essentially like one of the like whatever Miami or Vegas like beach clubs.
Yeah.
But it was just all Romanian Christian kids. Not drinking and not listening to any DJ music until
Tidy Whities.
Until the Tidy Whities showed up. So there we are I don't really remember, but I vaguely remember like it must have taken us a while to set it up.
Yeah, it kept getting screwed up.
Yeah.
We had to
'Cause,
like
you're
pull
not
power. We had to pull power
yeah.
from like an extension cord. We had to ask maintenance for like an extension.
We did. These swimming pools, let me tell you, they're not built for
DJ.
guests setting up their DJ sets. But sure enough, where there's a will, there's a way. What?
Put your foot down. You keep shaking it.
You made it work. And so there we were. Just
Spinning tracks.
DJing.
We were DJing the Romanian Youth
and
Convention.
And it was loud. And people like had no idea.
Hey, let me tell
react.
you, nobody was into it.
Dude, let me tell you, I was.
We were into it. Dude, why am I clipping so hard?
Dude, I was having the time of my life. I thought I was, dude, I freaking felt like Tiesto.
Yeah, I thought we were hot shit for sure. We were into it. Nobody else at the pool was into it.
I was in a trance. I was like,
that's why the music's
on
called
another
trance.
level.
Hey, so we're into it. We're like, like fist pumping.
I
like
thought to myself,
stomping.
there's no way that I won't get any chicks after this.
Yeah.
And sure enough.
You didn't?
I didn't.
I did. I pulled.
I probably got numbers at that convention, but I never ended up dating. Dude, I never ended up dating anybody that I met at, except for one time. One time at the East Coast Romanian Youth Conference. Now it's called ECRO. ECRO.
Really?
ECRO.
Shout out ECRO.
Shout out ECRO.
If you want to sponsor. If you want to sponsor, or if you guys want us to come spin any acid house at any of your conventions.
Whitey Tidies.
Tidy Whiteys, let us know.
Hashtag Tidy Whiteys. ECRO ATL. Shout out ECRO ATL 2023. That's actually where it's being hosted.
What's ECRO?
The East Coast Romanian Youth Conference
is where?
Is being hosted in Atlanta in whatever next month in May.
Okay, so we should bring our hip hop tracks.
So we should, for sure. ATL.
I was thinking
P2 A-Town.
Lecrae.
Why Lecrae, dude?
Okay. So anyway, that's the caliber of teenager that we were.
That I was when I was around you.
Really?
Dude, otherwise
that was me all the time though.
I would say that I'm more on the shy side.
Oh, really?
Like, it's not something that I would...
I pulled it out of you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you brought that out of me.
Wow, I didn't know.
If it hadn't been you, I would have been like, this is the stupidest thing. You can't get me to do this. I want to make a fool out of myself. But when you came up with the idea, I'm like, why not? Let's do it.
You would do a really good Scooby-Doo impression.
You think so?
Do that again.
Why not? Let's do it.
This is good, bro. So anyway, that's how we became friends.
Yeah. I didn't hear any feedback from anybody if they
on
thought
that?
It was cool or not. Did you?
I think the fact that we didn't hear any feedback speaks volumes to the fact that nobody thought it was cool.
Bro, we should on the podcast sometime, we should call someone who was there and ask them what they
Holy crap,
thought.
that's genius.
So Emiation was there, I think.
Call him.
Should I call him?
Right now. Dude, who else would have been there? Can you think of anybody else? Oh my god.
Sarah Trotta's husband. What's his name?
Dude, you're just dropping everybody's name but your own.
Man, sorry everyone.
I'm gonna censor that.
You're gonna censor that.
I'm just kidding. I don't think anybody. Wait, call Emmy.
Emiation?
Yeah. Okay, his name is.
It's very like short.
Darius.
No.
No.
It's like a short.
It's something with a D.
Nickname.
It's with a D.
I think it's something with a D. Yeah.
Drake. Draco. Dude, it's something. Dardi.
Nice.
Listen, I'm sorry I said Draco. It builds. It builds, you know?
Just censor that out.
It has to. Hold on. Put it to my mic. Oh, he's not going to pick up. Should I call him after he doesn't pick your call up?
He's for sure gonna know something's up, so he's gonna try to.
No. You don't know that.
Please leave your message for...
You don't know that. Watch this. I bet you he'll pick mine up. Dude, how embarrassing.
So Dardi was there for sure.
Do you have his number?
Your brother
Have
was
you
there.
talked to him ever?
No.
Okay, that would be one. That would be a weird one.
Yeah.
Hey, like 15 years.
Hey, what's up?
15
Dardi?
years later, you're like, hey, man.
Hey, remember me?
Do you remember that one time when we were DJing?
Your brother was there. I can't recall his reaction. But our boys, I feel like they were next to us.
Which boys?
I feel like Emmy and like your brother were
And
next to us.
Phineas and these guys?
I don't think Phineas was there anymore. I think
Okay.
by that time, Phineas
there
got
was-
depoted.
No, not by that time.
I think Abel was there for sure. Dude, call Abel.
I haven't talked to Abba in a long time.
Exactly.
You call him.
He's not going to pick up.
Okay, hold on. Oh, wait, I'm going to FaceTime him.
Okay.
No, because what if he's like somewhere he doesn't want to be FaceTimed? Audio.
Never stopped you before.
Hey, I will say that I did get a girlfriend after that.
At that
At that.
AZ committee.
Yeah. So it kind of worked out for me.
Lucky you, bro.
Thanks, man. It didn't actually work out
It
because
didn't work out.
later she broke up with me because she said God told her we needed to break up.
Dude, you could have married a prophetess.
Yo,
Hey, bro, what's up?
just about to go get a workout in real quick.
Why didn't
Nice.
ask him why he didn't
Hey,
pick up my call?
Hey, real quick.
Yo, why didn't you pick up my call, bro?
Hold on. Don't answer that. Listen, Emmy, did you know I have a podcast?
Huh?
Did you know I have a podcast?
Yeah. Bennis.
Yeah,
Did you know that you're on it right
you're
now?
on it right now on speaker.
Hello, everybody.
Hey,
Hello to the tens of
Just
viewers.
act normal, bro. Just act normal.
tens of viewers. Okay, listen, Sebi's with me. He's on the podcast too.
Sedation.
Tell him he has to explain why he didn't
he-
pick up my
I'll
call
keep
first.
it PG.
Yeah, well, you could do whatever you want. This is America. Hey, he wants to know why you didn't pick up his phone call.
He never called.
Yeah, he did. We did it live on air
When?
2
Literally,
minutes ago before I called you. Oh,
Did
he's
it go straight to voicemail?
no, it rang like 6 times. Hey, he's got you blocked.
dude, he's got
No
me-
worries. Listen, we had a quick question for you. Do you remember the Arizona Youth Convention maybe 15 or so years ago when
I like the back of my hand. I remember it.
Why?
hey, do you remember Sebi and I DJ'd at the pool?
I remember you and Sebi being in a huge freaking DJ craze where you just sit in your rooms and bob your heads to stuff, and then you'd like push a button and just go crazy.
Yeah, talent,
Right.
sheer talent.
Yeah.
Uh,
I remember that.
okay, but do you remember specifically us at the pool in Arizona at the youth convention DJing?
That one doesn't jump out at me.
Okay,
He
Sebi,
might not have been. That
Hey.
means he wasn't there.
I don't think it was memorable, bro. I think only we remember.
I don't think it was memorable. It must have been trash. Just to put it lightly to your
That's-
viewers.
That's kind of what we were debating right now is if only
Dude.
we thought we were cool or if other people noticed us.
I
But
don't. That was like one of the top 5 highlights of my life. I don't know how
Likewise.
you can say it was not memorable.
oh man.
Dude,
Well-
what was really memorable for me was that we sat in your room at your house and you two were just going off on these stupid Skrillex sounding stuff.
This was way before Skrillex, bro. Don't throw that at me.
Oh, that's true. You
Oh,
guys.
dude.
Well, okay, man. Hey, thanks for the time. That's all.
Yo, who else was there so we can call them?
You know
Abed.
who was for sure probably there and
Who?
would remember it.
Who?
You know who for sure was there and would remember
Flo.
Flo.
it is
Oh my god.
He 100% was there, dude.
Hey,
For
I'm
sure.
censoring this.
For sure he was there.
You should call him, dude.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Damn, Emmy, I can't believe you did that to us. Thank you for being on the podcast.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Stop by anytime.
Feel free to call. Yeah, feel free to call anytime.
But just off my phone, not Subby's, right?
Correct. That means go straight to spam.
He's a bot. All right, bro.
All right, later.
Take it easy. Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to call Flo.
So he said something very notable, I thought. I completely forgot all of the other times that you and I did this
I don't remember.
in like more private contexts, like at your house or my house.
I don't remember.
Or other people's house. Because Emmy just said that we would like lock each other, just lock each other up in a room and just like spin for like hours. We must have done this a lot.
Dude.
More than we remember.
What else, bro? What else do we got
I don't know, dude.
for the viewing audience?
Okay, so we would just like spin a whole lot.
This is
Make pretend DJs.
This is all history into our friendship.
One of the times that stands out as being pretty hilarious is when our friends from North Carolina visited for your brother's wedding.
Oh, yeah.
And for an entire weekend, we were just like hanging out, just going to a bunch of different spots around LA. And I was just being stupid. It was just funny, like the whole entire time. It was something.
Nothing stands out to me, bro.
To me, it does. I don't just that weekend. I think for me, it was okay. So the way that I like to explain it is I have best friends in like different cities.
I don't like this. I don't like where this is going. Because we just went from you have two best friends to now you have best friends
I don't like the
in
word.
different cities. This sounds like the Ludacris song. I've got best friends in different area codes. Friends.
I have people
area
that are
codes.
very close and dear to me in different parts of the world.
That's fine.
And so much so that these are people that I like intentionally go and visit.
Oh, okay.
Right? Like one of them is in North Carolina. You're here. Dan now is, in Romania. Phoenix is in Romania. And it was one of the few times, and normally you guys don't really talk to each other.
Your friends?
Yeah.
You're separate.
My separate friends don't really talk to each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's okay.
And that's fine. I don't care about that. But it was one of the few times when most of those people who I care about very deeply, who are very close to me, were all in the same place at once.
What is that? Okay. You know how earlier we were saying that different people will bring different things out of you?
Yeah.
What does that do to you when they're all in one place?
I remember.
Oh, like you just said, it was a week where you just went stupid.
I just went stupid.
So when everybody's together, you're just stupid.
I think I enter this like trance. I'm not kidding. I enter this like trance
of stupidity
where like I can be as like clownish.
Nice.
Like to levels that exceed what I was at any other time. I think the way that I would describe it is like I find such ultimate freedom from the validation that I get by the presence of these people that know me so intimately. Like the freedom is just on another level. And so I just lose myself in like the moment,
Lose yourself in the moment, you own it, you never get going. You only get one shot, do not miss a chance to blow. This opportunity comes once in a lifetime.
So it was like a once in a lifetime opportunity.
Yeah, makes sense.
So I think that's what it was. That's the way that I would describe it. It just felt really great. Like it was an extra level of like excitement and joy and like completeness almost, So it was cool. That was a really memorable time. And I have to say, like, maybe that's a glimpse of, I don't know if you resonate with that, but maybe, like, to me, I sense as though, like, maybe that's a glimpse of what heaven will be like.
Ooh.
Like, in this,
Dude, good segue.
like, in this life, you'll get, like, little moments, like little glimmers of just like an enhanced joy. It's kind of like a joy that is beyond what you normally feel, that you know is inaccessible, except whatever happened in this moment that you can't really replicate yourself. You just have to be content with knowing that you've just experienced it and lived it, and maybe hope that you'll feel it again at some point. Like it's an extra level of higher like joy, right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of how where maybe you would get if certain things aligned, but you can't really control in aligning those things to really create that joy for yourself.
Yeah.
So in heaven, that's kind of how I feel like it would be. Like it's a kind of joy that we would have gotten glimmers of maybe at little moments in time. I think that'll be like the norm in heaven.
Well, so I get what you're saying, and I kind of agree. I think we do get little glimpses of what like our eternal state will be here on Earth, and I think that that's like a grace in creation. You know, that points us to and makes us like long for eternity. I heard this other guy once say that. I mean, do with this as you will. That the feeling you get during during sex, you know, that feeling you get when you climax, right, is a fraction of the like joy, excitement, like the feeling that you're going to have for eternity. Like that's just a taste of the exhilaration that you'll feel for eternity. And that's all. I don't know if that's true or not. I'm just saying that that's something I heard, which is kind of along the same lines of what we were just saying. Obviously, yours was a different context.
I think I take slight issue with that comparison.
Okay.
Do you want to know why?
You could tell me.
Okay. So you don't care? You're set in that belief and that's it? It's unshakable?
No, I think they're both
sure
pretty similar comparisons.
For the sake of engaging, right, in this thought experiment.
For our poor audience.
I take slight issue with comparing the joy we'll feel in heaven with something that is like a physical sensation.
Okay. But it's not just physical sensation. There's a lot going on.
You can have the physical sensation in the procreative act without feeling the extra, intangibles of feelings of love for this person, or
yes.
joy in the moment, fulfillment, satisfaction, what have you. So I think I don't know if it's wrong or not. This is just me like processing. I would take objection to projecting something into the eternal that there's reason to believe is limited for just the earthly bodily experience.
What's the difference between my example and the one you gave, where when you were hanging out with all your friends?
Because the joy that I was describing was something beyond an emotional sensation. Like it was a freedom that transcended like even it kind of transcended thought. Like I was able to just like get out of my own head and just like experience elation and freedom and joy. So I think that those experiences are beyond corporeal. They're beyond like bodily sensations.
Yeah. Even, I mean, listen, this guy was Christian that said this,
Sure.
so he's obviously talking about copulation within marriage. And in that, it's not just a physical, exhilaration or physical experience. There's a lot going on. There's emotional, there's spiritual. Not to forget that in the Bible, it says not to unite with, I think it might have been like temple prostitutes or something, because there's like a spiritual effect, right? There's something spiritual about sex, even though it's just a physical, earthly, bodily thing, right? But there is something where it says that you are uniting in, I wish we could pull it up on this computer I have in front of me.
Yeah, I know.
You know what I'm talking about? But I kind of want to read it now because now I'm interested. So you see what I'm saying? I think sex in particular is something that's possibly like the closest to a spiritual euphoria or experience or whatnot.
I think
that's also, bro, real quick, sorry. That's also why people become obsessed with sexuality and sex and all that, is because it's the closest, like it's just a taste of what it's going to be like, but it's the closest thing here on earth to that state. And so once you get a taste of it, that's all you freaking want.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think it's a spiritual thing for sure. Do not unite yourself with sex. Do you not know that he who unites himself with a prostitute is one with her body? For it is said, the two will become one flesh, but he who unites himself with the Lord is one with him in spirit. Flee from sexual immorality. 1 Corinthians 6, 16 through 19. So he who unites himself with a prostitute is one with her in body. And two will become one flesh. So actually, even there, it's only talking about like a fleshly thing. But that can't be literal because you're not becoming one flesh. Unless you like melt it together.
I mean,
and then it goes straight into a spiritual comparison. But he who unites himself with the Lord is one with him in spirit. It's interesting. We're not going to give you any answers.
It also says in heaven there will be no one will be married and no one will be given into marriage.
It says they will be like the angels who
neither marry nor are given into marriage.
Yeah.
So to me, that implies that, this procreative act will not exist in heaven.
Yeah, but I think all we're not talking about the act, right? We're talking about the spiritual, conscious, like euphoric sensation, right? That you could arguably experience in heaven. Not the physical act itself, but the state of that bliss,
right.
That's it. That's all I'm saying. I don't think we're going to figure this one out, but it's some food for thought. What were we talking about before you came on when we were outside?
When we were in the kitchen?
When we were in the kitchen, when I said stop talking.
Dude, you said stop talking like 12 times. You should have written it down.
It's going to come to me. I'm just going to have to go back into my memory banks.
Yeah.
Another interesting thing that you brought up with the angels won't be given to marriage and this and that. That's one of I listened to this guy this week that was talking about, that's one of the main arguments against, like in Genesis 6, where it talks about the angels came down and took for themselves wives of the daughters of men and produced Nephilim.
Yeah.
And one of the arguments against that being actual beings is they use this verse that says angels they're not given to marriage, right? But this guy was saying that there's another verse that says that the angels that did this, they left their first estate.
Right, exactly. I mean, to me, the simple answer to that is that in heaven, angels don't marry each other. So if angels...
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
If angels have autonomy and can decide to, rebel or leave their first estate, you can see how the angels would be looking down on mankind and seeing, oh, look, they're having a really great time in this procreative act. It looks like, that experience is amazing, euphoric. We want to experience it for ourselves.
Yeah.
So then they would, leave their heavenly estate and, come down into the earth and then, procreate with the daughters of men, or whatever, however that verse says it.
Yeah, that's a good point.
You can almost conceive of the angel sort of, being jealous to experience something that wasn't meant for them to experience, but was only given to mankind to experience.
Yeah, well...
Which is why, interestingly, this is where I think I make the connection between not everything that God gave to us as a gift to experience in our bodies will, translate into heaven or will have a comparison in heaven. I don't believe that. I believe that there are certain experiences or gifts that God meant for us to have exclusively in our earthly bodies. Now, the Bible also says that we will have bodies we will have glorified bodies, but there's no evidence to suggest that we will keep all of the, bodily experiences we have in this lifetime on earth, the procreative act being one of them. There's no reason there's nothing to suggest that we'll keep that in our glorified bodies.
What do you think heaven is?
It's a good question. So I guess, I haven't read on this a whole lot. I'm just saying.
We are not read.
We're not experts
here. Don't listen to us.
There's a passage in Isaiah.
But like, subscribe, follow. Comment.
There's a passage in Isaiah, like somewhere in the 50s or 60s, Isaiah chapters, painting the New Jerusalem. Some think that that's a vision of the new heavens and the new earth, and it depicts, ships of talks about ships of Tarshish, like howling, riches and spices and herbs and whatever else. Rebecca's calling you.
Hey, babe.
Hi. Sorry, are you sleeping?
No, you're on the podcast with, Adam. Let's not say that. And Ben.
Sorry, I had to train a gal.
Babe, you're on the podcast with Adam and Ben.
Okay, bye.
Love you, bye.
So,
oh, I love my wife.
Anyway, the New Jerusalem passage in Isaiah, I guess if I had to take a stance, like that's what I think heaven would be like.
What, ships and spices?
No, but like in the sense that there is a civilization in heaven.
What do you mean in heaven? What is heaven? Where is heaven? Yeah.
Somewhere above the earth.
Oh, really? Weird. Go on. Where do you get
Somewhere
that?
in the
Where do you get that
spiritual
from?
realm.
Where are you getting this from? You think there's ships and spices in the like higher dimensions?
I think that there's a civilization.
Okay, but where? I'm talking about. We're not talking about what's on or in heaven. Where is heaven?
Bro, you're asking me questions that I don't know the answer to.
Well, think about it. Live on
It's
Menace the Menace.
in the
Thinking.
heavenlies. Heaven is in the heavenlies.
Huh. And that's where we're going to spend eternity?
Yes.
Good questions, huh? Okay.
Yes.
Revelation also describes the New Jerusalem, and it says it comes down from heaven onto earth. The civilized, and it talks about God destroying the heavens and the earth and creating new heavens, new earth, right? And then it says the New Jerusalem comes down to this new heaven, new earth.
Okay. Yeah.
And that's where it says that there's going to be nations and kings and kingdoms and gates, and people will come in and out of the New Jerusalem and go out and
You
bring
think Gates
gifts.
will be
And
there?
not Bill. Don't cancel us. So there's this conception that or misconception people have in their heads that we're going to be like up in heaven in some other dimension,
Just like floating around in clouds.
on clouds
singing
and with like
harps.
harps. Okay. And little fat angels. That's not what the Bible describes at all. It describes a new heaven and a new earth, and that humanity will for eternity be on earth without sin and with Jesus in the New
Right.
Jerusalem,
Facts.
in this big cube, this 1,300-mile cube that comes from the sky. Bro, read
Facts, big
Revelation
facts.
21 if you don't believe me and you're
I
Christian.
did believe you.
Look at this. You see this square? Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
what about the square?
This dude, this is so hard because the image is mirrored, so I don't know which way to go. This is the new heaven.
That square.
This is the New Jerusalem right here.
Oh, like that new Arabian
Oh my
city?
gosh, have you seen that thing?
Yeah.
We could do screen share, but I'm not going to because I'm going to break something.
Talk about it some other time.
So anyway, that's the new heaven, new earth.
Yeah.
It's just a new earth. So when you talk about ships and spices and nations and kings and gifts being brought to Jesus in the New Jerusalem, it talks about the tree of life. It talks about rivers. It talks all that stuff. It's literally just it's a revamping of the Adamic state. What God created with Adam and Eve in the garden is what he intended for humanity.
Yeah.
And that's what he's going to recreate. And he has to undo and delete heaven and earth and redo it completely. And then I guess, I don't know. And then I guess our souls re-inhabit new bodies or something. Adam and Eve had to have had souls, right?
Sure.
So then our souls just like re-inhabit bodies? And that's a good question, since we're on the topic. Do our souls stop inhabiting bodies at the point of death and then are in a waiting place, like Catholics believe about purgatory and that kind of stuff, until they get bodified?
Well, if the resurrection of Jesus Christ is any indicator, and I think that it is,
That's a good indicator.
then we'll be raised to life immediately
It would be immediate.
in something resembling the same body that we had just a second ago, but with new capabilities or with different capabilities.
Well, then the question is, did Adam and Eve have those same capabilities? Because if he's reconnecting, or not reconnecting, what's it called when you like redo something? I can't think of this word.
Whatever, when you redo it, go ahead.
When you're redoing your initial intent with Adam and Eve, that's what God's doing, right? And Adam and Eve were in the state of sinlessness in the garden with Jesus. Jesus was there, which is what we get again at the end, right? In Revelation 21. Were they able to appear, disappear, go through walls? I don't know, bro. I've heard this argument often about we're going to be like Jesus and have those capabilities because he's our best indication of the transfigured bodies, right? But we don't really have examples of anyone but Jesus doing those things.
We have examples of the transfiguration, which is where Elijah and Moses show up.
Okay.
And they just show up and they're talking and they're in their human form because, you know, the Bible identifies it as such. So beyond Jesus, we have those two figures in the glorified body. So I guess that to me is enough to suggest that, you know, we'll have a glorified body that will be something resembling pretty closely, at least in the way that you perceive it, the bodies that we had while we were on an earthly life.
Yeah, but even even Moses and Elijah, when they came, I almost feel like they could have just been any appearance, like when an angel appeared. An angel is not like a physical being that got his body back. You know what I mean? An angel appeared when it says it looked like a man, right? Abraham, when angels came to him, they were walking by and he's like, hey, don't walk by. Like he knew they were angelic, but they looked like human.
Right,
they looked like men.
We're not saying different things.
So I think Moses and Elijah had like that constitution.
We're not saying different things. I'm basically saying that the glorified body is a state that you can appear in something like a human, like a normal human body. Like you have that capability. Whether you can turn it off or on, I don't know.
But that was my question. So is our glorified body going to be closer to Christ's after his death and resurrection, or is it going to be closer to Adam and Eve's?
I don't know.
See what I'm saying?
I don't know, but let's rationalize this. I think, rationalism doesn't get you far, which is why I can't wait to heaven, right? Like we'll understand all these things.
Yeah.
Well, it'll be beyond
thought experiments.
It'll be beyond understanding. This is what we were talking about when you said stop. I think that the glorified body is something that can transcend dimensions.
Okay.
Right? It can go between 2 and 3D and beyond.
Okay.
Which is why I think it looks like the glorified body can look like a human body and at the same time not respect the laws of physics. Right? Like Jesus, after his resurrection, went and ate fish. I think it says that. You can fact check me right now if you want to. But
I believe you.
I think it says that he ate with them. He ate with the disciples. And at the same time, he just either he appeared instantly in the room where the disciples were gathered, or he was seen to as though go through the wall.
I think he just appeared.
Right. So he just appeared.
Yeah.
So, the question now is, well, is that a capability that's limited to, Christ as the Son of God?
Not only Christ, but a spiritual entity, right? Because Adam and Eve were human.
Right.
Christ, after death, was a spiritual, but he was also physical.
That's what I'm saying.
So it's both.
So exactly. So it's both. And the only other people, which is what I'm saying, the only other people that share Jesus's glorified body capabilities are Moses and Elijah, who appeared at the Transfiguration. Or the only other people, right, that we can identify in history. The fact that there were other angels who interacted with mankind, like, is that here?
I don't know what that was. No, I think it might have been in there.
Right. The fact that there were, and I'm not talking about angels that appeared, let's say, for example, to Abraham, and where the Bible says you might have, who knows, you might have entertained angels unawares. I'm not talking about that. Angels that were always, assigned to the spiritual dimension that have the capacity of taking human-like form. I'm talking about people that were alive and born into a body and then died. Those are the three figures.
That's curious too, though. How the heck did the apostles know that was Moses and Elijah? They've never seen them. They died hundreds of years before them.
I mean, the cop-out, easy explanation would be that, through the inspiration of the Holy Spirit, but...
You see what I'm saying?
I mean, the Holy Spirit would have had to impress upon their understanding that the figures they're observing is Elijah and Moses. Or it's very possible that even though they don't document a transcript of the conversation Jesus had at the Transfiguration moment with Elijah and Moses, it's very possible that the apostles who recorded this event, who were listening into the conversation, heard Elijah and Moses say things that are ascribed in their Pentateuch to Elijah and Moses, or Pentateuch is Moses, whatever books came after, that they would have discerned as the words of Elijah. So it's possible that that's one way that the Holy Spirit impressed upon them, that the figures they were perceiving were Moses and Elijah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nevertheless, the point still stands, and the point that I'm trying to make is, it seems like one of the capabilities of the glorified body that we'll have is an ability to transcend dimensions.
I like the thought. I used to think that too. I'm just literally now on the spot realizing that this concept of the glorified body, which is what most Christians believe, isn't adding up with my views on what like eternity in the new heaven, new earth, new Jerusalem is going to be like. Because that's pretty clear. Like there's not really any argument against new heaven, new earth, new Jerusalem. That's all of chapter 21 and the chapters you were talking about in Isaiah that describe that.
Facts.
Now, that is a reestablishing, that's what the word was, a reestablishing of the Adamic. So that's a reestablishing of the Adamic order, right? That's what we believe God is doing in human history, at the end of human history. He'll remake the heavens and the earth like Adam and Eve had the Garden of Eden. That's what all of humanity is going to experience. That was his intent. Do you know that they were told to reproduce and fill the earth before they sinned?
Yeah.
His intent was for humanity to live in the Garden of Eden in the state of Adam and Eve with himself present on earth for eternity. That was his intent. So he is going to fulfill that. Okay. And if that's his goal for humanity, does he then give all of humanity in the new heaven, new earth this ability to start transcending dimensions just because he did after he resurrected? You see what I'm saying? So it's, for me, it's not adding up. So
does he give all of
so does he give all of humanity on this new heaven, new earth, this ability to start transcending dimensions at will, even though that's not what was intended for Adam and Eve? You see what I'm saying? So we know what eternity is: new heaven, new earth, new Jerusalem, right? And that's where humanity is going to be. We also know Jesus's transfigured body and what that looked like post-resurrection. We are those dots that need to be connected, even though Adam and Eve did not have those abilities.
That's what you're saying. It can be both. It's conceivable that the way God intended it initially was the relationship that we read about in Genesis, where Adam walked with God in the cool of the day. This sort of uninhibited, side-by-side intimacy. However, the order of things was destabilized by the entry of sin into that order. So God can have it both ways. God can reestablish that initial intended intimacy in a new template, in a new order of things. And maybe this new order of things being an ability to transcend dimensions.
But what's the purpose of that? If Jesus is already here on earth in the New Jerusalem, it says it will be his house. That's the Shaq's house.
For sure.
You know what I mean? Where are we going? Why are there ships if we could transcend dimensions? Wouldn't you just like take your spice and pop in and out? Where are you taking spices? Like I personally think, and this is happening in real time. Thoughts happening in real time.
Here,
on
okay, go ahead. And then I'll share with you.
I personally think it's just going to be the Adamic state again, and it's just going to be God's original order reconstituted on earth, and himself present. Okay. Dude, it even says that the tree of life will be present. This is a trip. It says the tree of life will be present and the nations will come in to partake of the tree of life. And if you remember in the garden, it says we need to kick Adam and Eve out of the garden. Otherwise, they're going to eat of the tree of life and live forever. you have to eat of the tree of life to live forever. Like they did, we will. You know what I mean? Do you think Jesus, after his transfigured body, or Moses and Elijah, do you think they have to eat of the tree of life to live forever? I don't think so. You know what I mean? So there's like little details that to me, I'm starting to not think we're going to have like the same abilities as Jesus.
So let's keep
resurrection.
So let's keep that. Let's keep everything that you just said and create like a little addition to that. We'll just add on to that. This. You know how we were listening earlier, to the lecture I had on. The guy said we are souls and we have bodies. Looking at Jesus, he descended from heaven to earth and proved that it's possible to live a life of righteousness. What if, in addition to what you said, God took the effects of sin and made it so that he gets doubly glorified by adding within us the capacity to transcend dimensions, so that we are now souls who become residents of another realm where he is, with the ability of our souls to transcend dimensions and take residence in human bodies that now live in the exact order that you just depicted.
Yeah, but that's so much.
It isn't so. I don't think it's so much. I think
you're trying to meld the two, right?
I'm trying to meld.
You're trying to meld the Adamic state with Jesus's transfigured body, glorified body.
Yeah,
right?
I think there's something to that. Otherwise, Jesus wouldn't have had a glorified body. Otherwise, Jesus would have just gone straight to heaven. I think there's something to the glorified body that will have in a certain measure that Christ had it after he resurrected. And I think that's where the two meld together. What would glorify God more than to show the civilization of hell and darkness, and to also show the civilization of angels that never were corrupted and that honored him forever, to show that there is this other race that God created that can go between realms and still pledge full and complete allegiance to him.
Yeah, we just don't have that much detail.
Right.
You know what I mean? So we're speculating, which is fine. I'm thinking out loud too. The only thing is, again, those abilities to appear, disappear, right?
Mm-hmm.
To transcend dimensions, all that could very easily be, because guess what? Elijah and Moses, when they came down, they didn't have to be like physical. I don't think they ate. You know what I mean? It could have been like, and guess what? They also didn't linger. They didn't stay around.
Sure, but it was enough.
They appeared, did their work, and bounced.
But it was enough to perceive them as having human bodies.
I don't know if it says anything about human bodies.
It was enough to perceive them as having human form.
Yeah.
It was enough to identify them as
and that
personification.
That's another thing to realize. There's something about spirit and body that when spirits exist here on earth, they're temporary. They come and go.
How do you mean?
Well, I shouldn't say spirits. When like a spiritual being appears here on earth, angelic or other, they come and go. They don't linger. They have a set task. They can appear in human form. They could appear in crazy form, wheels within wheels, with eyes, with heads of lions, you know? They appear, do their work, and disappear. They don't linger. The only one that lingered is Jesus for 33 years. But guess what? He had to freaking be born. He had to go through the process, be a child, be a toddler, be an adolescent, be an adult.
Can you show me any like justification for why you think they don't linger?
Can you show me any example of one that did?
Well, dude, it's not on me to disprove it. It's on you to prove it if you made a claim.
Okay. Moses, Elijah.
Okay.
Okay. the wheels within wheels, the entertained angels, the ones that came and went to Abraham and then went to Lot. They all are here for a moment. They accomplish a task and they bounce. That's not going, and they, listen, some of those appeared as humans, right? Human form. Once they're done, they bounce.
Okay.
Now, us and Jesus too, after his resurrection, did his thing, bounced. You know what I mean? Post-resurrection, or I'm sorry, in the new heaven, new earth, where we are for eternity, I don't think we're bouncing. Like, where are we going? I think that that's the state we exist in and the place we exist in. And there's nowhere for us to go. Where are we going? Why do we need to transcend into the heavenly realms? To accomplish what? Jesus is already here. You see what I'm saying? These guys might have ascended back to Jesus. Jesus is with us on earth in his throne room. And it says the nations come in to worship him. Where are we going? To the Father? I don't know about that. You see what I'm saying? There's these details, bro. Thoughts with Bennis and Adam live on Bennis the Menace, happening in real time.
Just to hop on
things
on
you've
this, like,
probably never thought about and now tuned out.
just to hop on this, like, spirits are here only temporarily to achieve a certain objective. Okay, I'm not disagreeing with you, but what do you do then with passages like in Job where God asks, Satan, where are you coming from? And he's just like, oh, I've just been roaming the earth. And then God was the one that gave him a task to do, because before that, he didn't really have anything to do. He was just like, okay, God, I've just been...
Have you read Unseen Realm?
No.
You should.
I know, broad strokes, like whatever his viewpoints on it, but not
do you
particularly
know his...
with that
Okay, so
passage.
Michael Heiser, Unseen Realm, great book, highly recommended. He shows how, like, through the Jewish history and their folklore and other documentations, blah, 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 including a lot of biblical passages, that Satan is a title given to a specific entity.
Exactly. That's why I'm saying it.
That had the task of performing similar temptations or whatnot on behalf of God.
Okay.
So this deity, Satan, would go out and find people that God would tempt.
Okay, I got you.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or test, not tempt. That was that particular figure, Satan's job. We connect the dots between Satan and Lucifer. It might not necessarily be the same thing.
Yeah.
We also connect the dots between Satan and the serpent in the garden. Right. Might not be the same thing.
Right.
Okay.
They're not necessarily the same figure.
Right.
It's just a title that there could be multiple entities.
Right.
With that same function, it's just like having a job, right? Like there are, for example, you're the director of sales at Bank of America, but you can be the director of sales at like JP Morgan or another bank or another financial institution, right? Like there are multiple of these guys out there doing the same thing. It's not necessarily one entity. Yeah.
And think about it. So the Satan goes and does this thing to Job, right? I mean, it's horrible. Kids die, family, health, everything's gone, right? In the end, he's blessed tenfold.
Right.
So the result of him going through that thing, which was bad, that the Satan did to him, right? God gets to use for good and bless him tenfold. And then you get passages in the New Testament where it says, "Count it pure joy when you are tried and tribulation comes and da-da-da-da-da, because it produces da-da-da-da-da." So we see it as like bad things happening to him, but in God's eyes, it's for a good reason.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. That's a good question though. Is God one of those beings that's like a means to an end kind of guy? Bad things for good reasons. You know what I mean? It's rough. I don't want to go there. Bennis the Menace, Tidy Whitey's Acid House at your next convention. Anyway, guys, this is my friend. It was his first time. Blow him up in the comments. I'm just kidding. We don't get any comments.
Except for when I leave some.
We had one comment from him, so I called in and flew him out from Chicago to come be on the podcast.
That's what happens. Leave a comment.
Leave a comment. We'll fly you out. JK. And now we might have funds to fly you out if you leave a comment, because somebody decided to like possibly donate some money to us, which is insane. I don't know who would do that, but I mean, I do know, and it's pretty awesome. But don't feel like you have to. But hey, we're gonna use it to. I'm just kidding. I didn't fly Adam out. He's always here. That's Ben is the Menace podcast with Adam. Thank you for watching and listening. Say something, you idiot.
Yeah, no.